Hi, it's Sarah Smith here. Thought I would try something different and post a little video. Welcome to my studio. I moved into a dark hole in the basement when we moved to this house, and over on this side I have a ridiculous amount of closet space that we built in. You can see right here the original drawing that I did from the photo to use to cut my pattern pieces. I've got a nonstick press sheet on the design wall and one on my big board cutting board. The way I get set up, I've got my work table on the left and the Sweet 16. I have a sitting area that unfortunately I almost never sit in. Those are my two tiny windows to the outside. There's a couple more, but they're tiny. Over here, I've got the Janome, my thread cabinets, and a whole bunch of books because what's life without books? Also, we have right here the pug, my studio critter. I don't know where Thumper is. She's the other one. What I do when I start a project is I pick a whole bunch of threads, and you can see some of those right here. You can see some more of them over there on the ironing surface. What I do is I line them up in a color run from lightest to darkest. That one over on the far left that looks darker is variegated, so it's kind of off by itself. I start laying in my darks, and then usually I go to the lights and fill in the middle. But this time I'm doing it a little bit differently because I want to accent the edges with the lightest color. I've done the darks and mediums on this quilt, and you can see some of the work that I've done here, and I now have it threaded up with the darkest shade that I'm going to use out here on the lightest petals. It's about halfway through the color value run. I'm now going to stick this over in my Gorilla Clip and thingy for my phone. So it's going to look a little odd for a second, and I'm going to show you a little bit of me quilting. I've already pulled the threads to the top. Let's see. All right, that's a little tilted. Let me straighten it up. Okay, there you go. I have put in some overhead hanging clamps that I use, and boy, has that ever made a difference when working on a beast like this. As you can see, I don't have too much marked on here, but I've laid out the fabrics to give me sort of a guide to the lines and the petals. On this particular one, I've pulled up the bobbin thread to the top, and I'm going to hold that off to the left. And I take off my slipper. I need to feel the foot petal, and now I'm going to lay in some of this color. This is a piece of petal that curls over on the rest of it, so I'm going to do the outside edges a little bit, and I'm going to think about the direction that I want the curves to go. Here I'm going to curve it so that it's like a C shape as I look at it, but since I'm just about in the middle, I'm going to change direction. Think about it as if you're looking at a globe and you're looking at the longitudinal, that's the vertical lines. Sorry, it's hard to think and talk at the same time. I'm backing up a little because I'm making these little V shapes, and then I'm filling them in so that that edge is darker. I'm going to be alternating multiple different colors of pale pink here. And all of these are now curving like a backwards C or a crescent towards the edge. And you can see here that I'm not really going very fast. Okay, now I'm going to move over to the next piece, which is up here, which is, there's that one, that's that one. So this is a rippledy piece. What I'm going to do, needle up, I'm going to pull the thread out, and I'm not exactly, this is not supposed to be sticking up. I really ought to put it back down, but with the iron, but you know, here we go. I'm going to tack this down, and once again, I'm holding the thread so that I don't get a snarl on the bottom. I'm making my arcs on the bottom side because this is a piece that sort of pulls up from underneath. This one, because the petal ripples a little, hello, I think I ran out of bobbin thread. Well, that's a good time to change. Because this is one of the ripply petals, instead of using arcs, I'm making swoopy shapes. And that's it for today's video. We'll see how this goes. Bye, guys.